It's your girl. I really want to talk about from a therapist perspective a lot of things that are coming up with Ashlee Braxton. You guys know I've been doing a lot of coverage of the Braxtons over the last couple of months, all the things about healing, mental health, trauma, toxicity, narcissism. Okay. And it doesn't cease to amaze me that there's always something going on with this family, and there's just so many secrets. But let's get into Ashlee telling her story. Now, throughout the TikTok, some of you guys have seen it. If you have not, she's actually sharing some things she went through from healing from, in her words, allegedly abusive of parents, immature parenting, being locked out of her family, and for her having to escape the US in order to heal and find herself. And how many of you guys can relate to some of the things she's talking about? So let's get into it.
Today. And that story is about how one of my aunts in my family do not talk to me because they think that I, at the age of 16, did something with her partner at the time. And I have been a nervous wreck to talk about something like this and to tell this story. A, because of my family. B, because I don't want people, it's not to hurt people to tell my story. But at the same time, I've been working through this so much in therapy, and this is something that goes way deep to my core in terms of worthiness and how I feel about myself. And it's been such a journey. And it's that moment of my life where I have to like fully confront it and face it. And
So, how many of you guys are actually on your own healing journey? And recognizing that sometimes telling your own story might mean hurting someone else. Now, Ashlee has been living overseas for about, I believe, 10 years. She lived about 4 years in Paris, and now she lives in Madrid. To be honest with you, a lot of my clients who are healing from parental trauma and narcissistic parenting have lived in Madrid. It's something about being over there that you feel free, you feel like you can really come into yourself, a slower pace of living. And I think also the background is that Ashlee also lost her sister. So there's a lot of grief, not only from losing a sibling, but losing your family. And we don't talk enough about grieving family while they're still living. Grieving them because they chose to cut you off, because you chose to cut them off, but have to know that those people still exist out there, but you have no relationship with them. And having to sit with that, knowing that I'm grieving what I wanted, what I needed. I'm grieving the experiences that I'm missing out, those family functions, those celebrations, all those things in order to find myself. And I want to share my story, but I also don't want to hurt people. I want to be respectful, but it is my life. It is my story. So I'm glad she's sharing what she's going through, coming to a point where my healing comes first. What I've been through, I want to share with other people because even as a therapist, I believe a lot of people have gone through the same situation. As she gets more into it, I'm going to do some more commentary, but let's get on and get to her story.
talk about it, but talk about it because I also want to shed light for the women and the men and anybody who has gone through something like this, where you were underage and something in that sort of manner happened in terms of that sort of word of abuse. And I feel like I have to be careful with what I'm saying here because I don't want to be banned from talking about these situations, but also we kind of have to talk about it.
Talk about it.
I'm also not very good at storytelling, and I'm new to all this, and I'm also trying to get ready at the same time and tell a story. And I feel like the story is quite complicated and detailed, so like bear with me here. But yeah, so one of my aunts does not talk to me because I guess she felt like I did something with her partner at that time. And nothing happened, but I'm going to try to tell the story quickly and also not name any names. And so I was with this aunt for the summer with my sister, and I can't remember how much time had passed since we were there in the summer for a little bit of time to when we got home. And when I think it was my stepmother was going through my phone and she found this conversation, this sort of conversation. And she showed it to my dad, and my dad called that aunt, and we spoke about it, and we talked about it a little bit. And I remember just a lot of emotions, was a lot going on. I was 16 at the time, and I'm 32 now. I had to think about it. I'm 32 now. And so, oh my God, it's been 16 years. This is wild. Anyway, okay.
16 years to tell her story.
So yeah, my aunt was there for me. She was very kind and very nice. And was like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you, blah, 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 blah. And not blah, 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 but she was very kind, and it just felt like safe, you know? But then as the years have gone by, it's like that mood and that assumption that I didn't do anything because I was a child
Mm-hmm.
was not that assumption anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it boggled my mind because it was like, wait, but if it happened or if it was true, then that would make him, you know,
So how many times have I as a therapist heard people say, I think this happened to me, but my family says that it didn't. I feel like there's this internalized gaslighting that you are conditioned and used to from your family. When you start to wonder, did those things happen to me? Was it all in my mind? What do I believe? Do I believe my family? Do I believe myself? Not only that, the victim becomes the person who's blamed. You should never be in that situation. You should have never been talking to him. Why you dressing like that? Now, of course, I should have done a trigger warning, so I'm apologize and say trigger warning midway through this video. But I have heard so many stories where the victim becomes the one blamed. Not only that, but the mother, the auntie, whoever it is, they protect that other person. The brother still sticks around, the boyfriend still sticks around, all at the cost of the victim. Okay. They still have to get up every morning if that person lives with them. They be at the function. And so many times in Black and brown communities, I have heard, well, we forgave him. We forgave her. You should just move on too. What about my feelings? What about the things that have happened to me? What about the trauma I am living with? Why is it always that the victim in these family households has to shh, simmer down? Be a good little girl. Stay in your place. Why would what about the man? What about his accountability? And I should let you guys know that when I was recapping the Braxton show, she actually reached out to me to come on my platform and tell her truth. This isn't the first time she shared her story. She's been on a few other podcasts. We were emailing back and forth, and I think the time zone, her living over there, me living here, we weren't able to really get our schedules in sync. So maybe I reach back out to her and maybe she'll be willing to come back on the platform and just have a conversation with me. But yes, we have tried to communicate because I want to hear from her perspective. You know, over here, I'm not all about the tea. I want people to have a place to feel safe, compassion. I try and tell people stories with compassion, but I think the adults around her failed her. The aunties, the father, the stepmother, so much so that she's like, for so long, 16 years, wondering, was this true? Was it in my mind? And now she talks about that she's in therapy, but still notice how she's protecting the other person, the other people involved in this situation. That is years of conditioning, years of being told to protect other people instead of yourself. And I think she's starting to, in therapy, from an outside perspective, because I'm not her therapist, she's starting to learn that she can have a voice. She can tell her story and that's okay. And I think her talking about it will help other people come on and share their stories about the things that they have also experienced within their families and how everything is supposed to be in the household. What stays in this house, what they say, what happens in this house stays in this house.
and like you're okay with that? Like that's what you would like to hear? And I will just never forget how when I got older, I just realized that I really had to take the time and go back to that part of my life
Mm-hmm.
and understand how much feeling of like I didn't matter, that
Mhm.
I was unworthy.
Mhm.
It just felt like love from my family was just cut off and gone.
Mhm.
And you're like, but wait, that guy? And it made it even worse because it was like, wait, this guy that was doing this to you on TV, and like it's kind of in cohorts in the same spirit of what was happening, not in the same cohorts in the same spirit, but like, you know, I like it's so painful. And I know that the ladies, the men, the everybody who has experienced this sort of feeling when your family doesn't believe you, or when you're
Yes.
at an age where you shouldn't have been put in that situation to
Yeah.
have to navigate it.
Yes.
And
As a
however you
child.
navigate was however you navigated it.
Mhm.
And spoiler in therapy is like how I navigated it and how I dealt with it was how I dealt with it.
Mhm.
But the most important thing to understand is that I never should have been put in that spot in the first place.
Right. And you should have been believed.
And I think that's the devastating part, is that you realize that you didn't ask for that. You
No.
know,
You were a
I did
child.
not ask for that. No matter what, I didn't ask for that.
Mhm.
So
You can definitely tell when she says, "I didn't ask for that," over and over again. She's feeling that. You can see in her body language. She's like, "I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for that." But you see she's processing it as she's saying it, because that's something she's learned in therapy, is that I deserve better. And how all those negative things, that the way her family treated her, outcasted her, ostracized her, she internalized that to think that I am not worthy. I am not good enough of love. And some people also learn that it's okay for me to be a secret. It's okay for me to be in the background in relationships. Learn that toxicity is love, because the people around you are not mature enough to choose you. Instead, as we have seen throughout the Braxtons, they choose the men.
I'm just wondering what other people who have gone through this, how they decided to handle this sort of situation. How did you go about telling your truth? And how do you tell your truth in a way that honors you?
Mhm. And
And I
puts you
think the reason
first.
why I'm addressing it now so much is because I'm getting older. And if I want to have kids, and especially if I want to have girls, like I don't want to still be in that space and place and in that situation and just even having to deal with it, you know? And so next year I'm planning to go to the US,
Mm.
and I'm planning to like confront a lot of things because my sister passed away. Like I've just like I fled the country because I was needing to save my own self and my own life. And when I say all of this is
I think her sister passed away, was it 10 years at this point? 7 years? I wonder if she was even present to be able to grieve her sister when she actually passed away, or was she still living out of the country? Because, like I said, she did live in Paris for like I believe almost 5 years. And then she's living in Madrid now. So I wonder what she means when she says she's coming back to confront and discuss different things. Is that talking to people about that? Is it sharing her story more on US platforms? But I want to know more about that piece.
not a dig to my family member, because it's really sad that she also was put in that situation of having to deal and having to handle. That's not her. Like, I don't wish that upon anyone either. Do you know? There's
Mhm.
sympathy there. But there's also so many other aspects of it when you're a child and you're like denied a voice.
Mhm. There's so
It's
many
it's
layers.
uh it's pretty much been like a lifelong battle for me. So it's been a journey, but I appreciate spaces like this where I feel like if I talk about it on social media, and I just felt like, I don't know, like I just felt like TikTok was the space and the place to talk about it, and it felt right and it just felt accepted in this community. And so if you've ever been that person, I just want to hear from you. I want to know that you're okay. I want to ask you what sort of work you've done for yourself to get better. Like what sorts of things are you doing to make sure that you heal? And I'm so happy that I'm getting to a place where I'm healing
Mhm.
so that then I have the heart and the courage to go heal somebody else, that next
Mhm.
person. And not only that, but my aunt as well, you know?
Mhm. Even after everything her family has put her through, this aunt has put her through, she still has compassion. You can understand, but still be healing at the same time that no, to know I deserve that, but I also know that my family member, that person has their own shit that they're going through. And I think some people don't recognize that you could have compassion but still be healing. Some people feel like I can't have compassion for them. And that is your story, that is your journey. But there is a way to have understanding that your parent lacks something, your family member lacks something, emotional intelligence, their own trauma they haven't healed from, but still know that you didn't deserve the things that happened to you. And so I think her story will help somebody else heal because it makes people feel like this didn't just happen to me, it's happened to other people. And let's look at some of these comments because some of y'all think that it's somebody y'all have identified in the family now. Without reading the comments, I believe it was Trina. She still needs to heal why the new husband is damaging her. Ooh, okay. I think it's Trina and Gabe. Where was Michael, your daddy? Your daddy should have a handle Gabe and cussed every family member out. See, now when it comes to her father and I guess would be her grandfather, those are the two people I really haven't done recaps or stories about because there's not a lot of information about Michael Braxton. He's not really on social media. There's stuff you can find out about her grandfather, but there's still not enough out there also. So I'm still curious about her father, her stepmother. Where were they at in this situation? Why was it okay for this person, this man, to still be around the family, and she had to go through that? People saying, I agree. Trina's new husband irks me. He's controlling, and all he wants her to do is cook on YouTube for him. So sorry, my whole family detached from me when I decided to tell my story of abuse. Dealing with the abuse and dealing with family detaching because of it is really depressing. It is. You know, if you got to this point in the video, even when I think about telling my own story on this platform about the things that I went through, I'm still in this kind of like, I want to share my story so we can help other people, but I also want to be respectful and not, put other people's like problems or hurt other people. It is something even as a therapist and you're on your own healing journey, you experience and you go through too. Like I want to tell my story, but also who in my family could possibly see it and what can it do? Um, they still say I think it's Trina and Gabe. She does look a lot like Tawanda. She does. Them genes in this family are strong. Your was the adult and your parents trusted her. Her and her uh parenter both are wrong. Oh, partner, I'm guessing. She was supposed to protect you, not blame you. Very true. Do you think your aunt will come to one of your therapy sessions? See, let's talk about this. Okay. No, therapy, you don't have to bring your family into therapy with you. Therapy should be your safe space. Now, if you get to a point where you want to have a family session, that is a choice, but don't feel like you have to bring family into it. I've asked my clients sometimes, when I was working with more minors, would you want your parent to come in for once a month a session? They were like, no, this is my space. Keep my parents outside that room. I don't want them in here. So I want to talk just a little bit about her story, a little bit about living with these thoughts and feelings of things you have gone through, things your family members have pushed down, gaslit you to think that it never really happened, and how to start healing from those things. We need to talk about these things that are happening in the Black community and how they affect us as adults, Brown community too, how they affect you as a mother, your unhealed trauma, you dating, you wanting to be in a relationship with someone physically with intimacy, how some of those abusive things you went through as a child can now still affect you when you are getting close to somebody. Do you have flashbacks? Okay, how does your trauma impact you with your dating? Okay, we got to talk about it. I think it's important. I think that it's not just Ashlee. I wonder about the other kids in the family. Okay, the things that they have seen, gone through. It doesn't have to be so much about SA. It could be just the trauma of the different things you have heard, seen, being in the industry, being behind the scenes. We really don't hear too much from Tawanda's kids. I'm always curious about them because they've been around, but we haven't seen much of them. Okay, the only kids we really have seen are even Trina's have been like really in the background, not too much. And then we have Toni's kids very much in the background. The one we probably mostly see is Tamar's son. But I'm curious to see how being in the limelight has affected all these kids. I want to know you guys' thoughts. What you guys think about this whole situation? It's sad. It's really sad to know that she went through so much that she felt like she had to escape the U.S. to find peace. And what does it mean for you to find peace? Does it mean cutting off family members? Does it mean that you go to therapy with family members? Does it mean you just stuff it down, you forget and you act like it never happened? Because for some people, that is peace too. Okay. But y'all really need to stop stuffing that stuff down, bring it to the surface, and talk about it. If you keep stuffing it, it's going to keep controlling you. Yeah, I'm looking at you, girl. I'm looking at you. But make sure you guys hit the like. I really want to talk about this a lot deeper. Because I will see you in the comments. And do you think that Trina, Tawanda, Toni, Tamar, do you think any of them will speak up? Do you think her father will? Now, y'all told me it was something about on her page that her father posted, but I can't find it. So let me know in the comments. But it's been a great year, y'all. I appreciate all you guys. This channel has grown so much. I started January 1st on this channel with, I think, 1,200 subs. And now I'm ending it with 7,000. So I appreciate you guys. I'm so excited about the future. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, continue to support the channel. Oh, the last thing I was going to say is that I did start doing some reaction videos to the Yanla, episodes. I did the one on Trina. I never posted it because I'm afraid of copyright strikes. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I might have to start like a Patreon of me like reacting to some of her old episodes, but I did do it. I then posted because I'm not trying to lose this channel. I'm not trying to lose the hard work I have put in. So let me know, what are your ideas of what I should do with that video? Should we start a Patreon where I do all that and y'all pay me like $2 a month? But I will see you guys. Be safe. Have a happy new year. And I will see you in 2025. Bye.